The chaos between Trump and Harley-Davidson isn't just another business feud. It's a battle of American pride and corporate survival. Harley found itself caught in the crossfire of Trump's trade wars, with tariffs skyrocketing and the company's sales plummeting. The decision to move production overseas didn't sit well with many, especially Trump. The president, once a vocal supporter, now accuses the company of abandoning its roots. But here's the thing. Does Harley have any choice but to go global if it wants to survive? The clash between Trump and Harley is just getting started. Who will come out on top? Harley-Davidson has been facing some serious challenges lately, and it all seems to stem from a combination of internal struggles and external pressures, particularly with President Trump's trade policies. The iconic American motorcycle manufacturer has been grappling with declining sales, and to make matters worse, its stock has taken a hit as well. A big part of the problem is that the company has struggled to attract younger riders, especially in the US, where its loyal customer base is aging, and new generations just aren't flocking to Harley-Davidson in the same numbers. As sales stagnate, Harley has been forced to look beyond the US for growth. But here's where things get interesting. Trump's trade war played a significant role in making things even harder for Harley. When Trump slapped tariffs on European steel and aluminum, the European Union quickly retaliated by increasing tariffs on American motorcycles, including Harley-Davidson. The EU raised the tariff on US motorcycles from 6% to a whopping 31%. This was a huge blow to Harley because Europe is its second largest market, and such a steep tariff made it much harder to sell motorcycles at competitive prices. So what does Harley do in response? Well, it turns out the company felt cornered. In order to keep its business viable in Europe and stay competitive, Harley-Davidson made the decision to move some of its production overseas. By manufacturing in countries outside of the US, the company could avoid these high tariffs and keep its bikes affordable for European customers. It's a decision that makes sense from a business standpoint, but it also created a lot of controversy, especially with Trump and his supporters. From Harley's perspective, this move was a practical necessity. CEO Matt Levatich argued that these international manufacturing plants weren't about abandoning the American workforce, but rather by staying relevant in a changing global market. The company already had plants in countries like Thailand, Brazil, and India, and its goal was simply to ensure its products could remain accessible in key markets. If Harley didn't adapt, it risked losing its international customer base, something it couldn't afford as its domestic sales were slowing down. However, not everyone saw it that way. Many Trump supporters, including the president himself, were furious. Trump, who had previously called Harley a true American icon, felt betrayed when the company shifted some production overseas. In fact, Trump took to Twitter to express his displeasure, accusing Harley of quitting on American manufacturing. He made it clear that he thought Harley should be keeping jobs in the US, not sending them abroad. In his mind, this was a perfect example of how global trade policies were undermining American businesses, and he wasn't shy about calling out Harley for its decision. This created a major public clash between Trump and Harley-Davidson, with the company's move being framed as a symbol of the challenges American companies face in a world of escalating tariffs and trade wars. The fact that Harley, a symbol of American craftsmanship, was being forced to shift some of its production overseas was a bitter pill for many to swallow. The situation highlighted just how complicated global business can be in the age of tariffs, trade wars, and protectionist policies. When Harley-Davidson announced its decision to move some of its production overseas, it didn't just make headlines, it sparked a heated reaction from President Donald Trump. As you might expect, Trump didn't hold back when it came to expressing his feelings about the company's decision. In typical Trump fashion, he took to social media, namely Twitter, to call out the iconic motorcycle maker. In his eyes, Harley's decision to manufacture abroad wasn't just a business move, it was a betrayal of American values and an insult to everything the company stood for. Harley-Davidson had always been seen as a symbol of American craftsmanship. The roaring sound of its engines, the sleek designs, and the unmistakable spirit of freedom it represented made it one of the most iconic brands in the US. For many, Harley wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a piece of American culture, a testament to the country's hardworking spirit and blue-collar roots. So when Harley decided to shift some of its production to overseas plants, It didn't just affect business, it touched a nerve. Trump, who had spent much of his campaign championing American jobs and American-made products, saw this as a direct affront to those values. On Twitter, Trump didn't mince words. He accused Harley-Davidson of quitting on American manufacturing. In his mind, the company was turning its back on the very workers and consumers who had made it successful. Trump's message was clear. If Harley was going to shift production overseas, it would be the beginning of the end for the company. He warned that the decision would be detrimental to Harley's future, saying that the move would cost the company both in terms of reputation and consumer loyalty. Trump's rhetoric painted a picture of a proud American company abandoning its roots in favor of cheaper labor abroad. Now, whether you agree with Trump or not, his reaction was a stark reminder of how deeply American businesses and brands are intertwined with national pride. To Trump, companies like Harley-Davidson weren't just businesses, they were institutions that represented the heart and soul of America. So when a brand with such a strong American identity started to move jobs overseas, it felt like a betrayal of everything Trump had campaigned for, putting American workers first and bringing jobs back home. Of course, Trump's comments were rooted in his broader economic agenda, one that prioritized America's manufacturing sector and sought to reduce reliance on foreign markets. He has been a vocal advocate for tariffs and trade policies that would benefit American industries, especially those like steel and aluminum, which he saw as essential to the nation's economic power. In that context, Harley's decision to move some of its manufacturing operations outside the U.S. seemed to contradict everything Trump had been pushing for during his presidency. For many people, Harley-Davidson's move felt like a necessary step for survival. After all, the company was struggling, with declining domestic sales and facing increased tariffs in key international markets. It made business sense for them to find ways to reduce costs and remain competitive. But for Trump, the stakes were higher than just economics. They were about American identity and pride. The idea of Harley-Davidson manufacturing overseas was, in his view, a loss for American workers and a sign of a deeper problem in the U.S. economy. Trump's criticism also raised a bigger question about the balance between global business strategies and national pride. Can a company remain true to its roots while competing on a global scale? Or, as Trump suggested, is moving production overseas a sign of weakness, a company willing to sacrifice its core values for profits? For many, this was the central issue in the Harley-Davidson controversy. Harley-Davidson has found itself at a crossroads in its long and storied history, trying to balance the need to expand internationally with the challenge of maintaining its American-made image. The company, once synonymous with the open road and American freedom, has seen its domestic sales stagnate, especially among younger riders who don't necessarily associate the brand with cool. For many, the Harley-Davidson name evokes images of older generations of riders, but younger crowds aren't as drawn to the brand in the way previous generations were. So what does Harley do when its traditional customer base starts to shrink? The obvious answer is to look abroad. That's where emerging markets like India come into play. India, with its rapidly growing economy and increasing disposable income, is a huge opportunity for Harley. But it's not an easy sell. The motorcycle market in India is dominated by brands like Royal Enfield, which offer affordable bikes tailored to local tastes. Harley, on the other hand, has been known for its large, expensive cruisers, which aren't exactly a fit for the everyday rider in India. To crack this market, Harley's had to rethink its strategy, introducing smaller, more affordable bikes like the 200 to 500cc models. This shift marks a significant departure from the brand's traditional image, but is seen as necessary for survival. Beyond India, Harley is also looking to expand its footprint to Europe and other international markets. The challenge here is a bit different, as the European market is already saturated with a wide variety of motorcycle brands, including well-established names like BMW and Ducati. However, Harley's overseas expansion isn't just about trying to outdo local competition. It's about staying relevant in an increasingly globalized market. Harley has a history of making bikes that appeal to a particular lifestyle and culture. But the question is, how do you market that to people in other parts of the world? The struggle to find a balance between expanding internationally and maintaining the American-made image is one of Harley's biggest challenges. On one hand, you've got the growing need to tap into markets where motorcycles are still a growing trend, like India. On the other, you've got the image of Harley-Davidson as a quintessentially American brand, deeply rooted in American manufacturing and values. Can they continue to be seen as a symbol of American craftsmanship if more and more of their bikes are made overseas? This tension between domestic and international markets has created a complex web for Harley to navigate. The company knows it needs to increase its international market share if it wants to stay relevant in the coming decades. But it also has to be mindful of its loyal American customer base, which sees Harley as an emblem of national pride. As Harley moves forward, it'll have to figure out how to keep its American roots while adapting to the demands of a global market. The stakes are high. If Harley can't manage this balancing act, it risks losing both its traditional audience at home and its potential customer base abroad. Harley-Davidson's decision to close its Kansas manufacturing plant was a bold move, but one that has sparked a lot of debate about whether it was the right choice. The company has been struggling with declining sales, and for a company with such a massive legacy, this kind of decision isn't made lightly. The closing of the Kansas plant and the shift toward international production is a part of Harley's broader strategy to stay competitive and cut costs. But the financial and emotional implications of this move are significant. From a business perspective, Harley was in a tight spot. The company's sales have been declining for years, and it's been particularly difficult to attract younger riders. Domestic sales were falling, and with the tariffs on European steel and aluminum escalating, Harley had to look for a way to continue reaching international customers while maintaining profitability. The decision to focus on international expansion, especially in emerging markets like India, was a way to counteract the stagnation in the US market. But the question remains, is it worth sacrificing American jobs for this global push? Financially, the move makes sense. By shifting production overseas, Harley could reduce manufacturing costs and avoid the burden of high tariffs. With new factories in countries like Thailand, Brazil, and India, Harley can keep prices competitive in those markets without being overly affected by tariff hikes. It's not just about cutting costs either. It's about ensuring the company can stay in business and reach more customers globally. As Harley CEO Matthew Levatich explained, manufacturing abroad is necessary for the company to remain relevant in international markets where the growth potential is higher. But at what cost? Closing a manufacturing plant in Kansas is more than just a business decision. It's a blow to Harley's American workers and to the company's image as a proud American company. The Kansas facility had been a staple in the company's production for years, and its closure came at a time when many felt Harley should be doing more to keep jobs in the US. The decision to outsource some of its production overseas didn't sit well with many fans and employees, who viewed it as a betrayal of the brand's American roots. It's tough to reconcile the idea of a brand that has long been seen as a symbol of American pride with the reality of shifting production to foreign countries. On the other hand, Harley's long-term survival might depend on these tough decisions. The company's inability to adapt to the changing landscape of motorcycle sales, especially as younger generations move away from traditional bikes, has left it scrambling to find new revenue streams. The move to international markets is part of the company's effort to maintain its dominance in the motorcycle world. Harley knows that if it doesn't act now, it risks becoming irrelevant. But will its American loyalists stick with it as the company shifts its focus elsewhere? Harley-Davidson's decision to shift a portion of its production overseas represents just one chapter in the ongoing narrative of President Trump's trade war. The US president's approach to international trade, which includes imposing tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other goods, has triggered a domino effect across numerous industries, with Harley-Davidson at the forefront of the fallout. The company's predicament highlights the complexities that arise when attempting to strike a balance between protecting American businesses and competing effectively in the global market. Trump's tariffs were originally intended to safeguard US manufacturers by taxing imports, particularly from countries like China and the European Union. However, the unintended consequences of these tariffs have posed unique challenges for American companies that depend on global trade. Harley-Davidson, a globally recognized brand, found itself in a particularly difficult spot. In retaliation to Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs, the European Union imposed a substantial increase in tariffs on US-made motorcycles. The tariffs jumped from 6% to a staggering 31%, creating a significant hurdle for Harley's ability to sell motorcycles in Europe. one of its most vital markets. For a company that had long prided itself on being an embodiment of American craftsmanship and ingenuity, this move was a tough pill to swallow. Harley-Davidson's response to this crisis? To shift some of its production overseas, specifically to countries like Thailand and Brazil, where tariffs are lower or even non-existent. This strategic decision allowed Harley to sidestep the burdensome tariffs and continue to compete in international markets. However, this move has sparked backlash, particularly from American consumers and workers who view it as a betrayal of the company's American roots. President Trump himself has publicly criticized Harley, accusing the company of abandoning its loyal American workforce and tarnishing its Made in the USA image. It's a position that's particularly controversial, given that Harley has long been associated with the heart and soul of American manufacturing. But Harley's troubles are not an isolated incident. The broader implication of Trump's trade policies are being felt across other U.S. manufacturers as well. Companies that rely on global trade, whether it's importing raw materials, finished products, or components, are being forced to make tough choices. Some, like Harley, may follow suit and move production overseas to minimize costs and avoid tariffs, while others could find themselves struggling to survive. This could result in layoffs, plant closures, or even higher prices for American consumers. The reality of the trade wars is that their ripple effects extend far beyond the companies directly involved in the conflict, impacting industries and communities that were never part of the original dispute. At the heart of this issue is the ongoing debate between protectionism and global competition. Protectionism, which involves raising tariffs on foreign goods to safeguard domestic industries, is intended to help U.S. businesses thrive by limited competition. On paper, it seems like a smart strategy to protect American jobs and industries. However, the practical reality is much more complicated. Higher tariffs can increase the costs for U.S. companies that rely on imported materials or components. This in turn can lead to higher prices for consumers, making it harder for Americans to afford goods. Additionally, the added pressure can push companies to shift operations overseas, as Harley-Davidson has done, just to remain competitive in a global marketplace. On the flip side, global competition can drive companies to innovate, improve their efficiency, and explore new markets. It allows U.S. businesses to expand beyond their domestic borders and tap into new opportunities. However, this global competition can also create significant challenges for companies that are struggling to keep pace with evolving market demands. For industries like Harley-Davidson, the competition can feel overwhelming, as younger generations of consumers turn away from traditional brands in search of something new and exciting. In the grand scheme of things, Harley-Davidson's situation is just a snapshot of the larger challenges facing U.S. manufacturers in a trade war. The shifting dynamics of global trade, combined with the complexities of Trump's tariffs, are reshaping the landscape for American businesses. As companies like Harley-Davidson navigate these challenges, it remains to be seen how they will balance their commitment to American values with the realities of competing on a global stage. The trade war is far from over, and the consequences will continue to unfold in the months and years to come. So what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments down below.